Coming up, we are learning more about a child who apparently drowned in Laurel County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Tomorrow will likely be the fourth day in a row for record-breaking heat, but we do get some relief this weekend. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the latest on this severe weather alert day. Evan?
Well, it was another mild and muggy one around the day, or it was hot and muggy today. Overnight, it's still going to be warm and muggy. We have the heat advisory remaining in effect as we run through the remainder of tonight. In fact, it's expired for tonight, but it kicks back in tomorrow and heading into tomorrow night with that heat advisory still in effect. You see everyone in Kentucky and West Virginia under that. Not included are Tennessee and Southwest Virginia counties. It's going to be hot there, too. Don't let that fool you. I-75 at Mount Vernon. All is quiet, but it's still muggy. All is quiet there in Wise as well, sitting at 72. I like this new vantage point of the UVA Wise camera. You can see the stars a little better. Highs today, well, it is official. We did up the record highs today. We already broke the records. 94 at Jackson's a record. 95 at London is a record. The record at Jackson went back to 1988. The record at London only went back to 2015, but we beat it by 3 degrees, and it was in the low to mid 90s throughout the day. We remain in the upper 70s and low 80s at this hour, though it still feels like 90 in some spots. Severe weather over the Great Lakes. We've got some storms in our future as we head into the next couple of days. The details on that coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. A toddler has died after drowning in a pool this morning in Laurel County. Deputies say the child was just 23 months old. This is the second drowning in Laurel County this year. The CDC says drownings are the second leading cause of unintentional injury or death for children ages 1 to 14 years old. Chad Hedrick talked to first responders.
It's a tragedy that happens nearly 4,000 times a year, and most commonly in children.
It's definitely unimaginable. Kids can get away just if you blink. They're 30 feet off the other direction, out of your reach.
Deputies say the 23-month-old was found in a pool in the western part of Laurel County around 10 a.m. Wednesday. The child was taken to the hospital where ER doctors tried to revive them, but the toddler did not survive.
The rescue squad had a unit that was close by who also happens to be a paramedic, and he started doing CPR. They were able to get a pulse back on the child for some time. Then at the hospital, they were doing a pulse check and it came back negative.
According to the CDC, among infants, 2/3 of drownings happen in bathtubs. In 1 to 4-year-olds, home swimming pools are the leading cause, and more than half of drownings in people 15 and older happen in lakes, rivers, and oceans.
There's a lot of guilt that goes along with that. Sort of the if I had just been paying more attention mentality comes to mind, and that is probably the hardest thing that the parent has to go through, is that they feel like it's their fault.
First responders say anytime your child goes missing and you have a pool, that should be the first place you look. The CDC says it can happen in seconds. Chad Hedrick, WYMT Mountain News.
From 2015 to 2019, the nationwide death rate for drowning was 1.23 per capita. In Kentucky, the rate was 1.45. We have a happy ending tonight in the story of a missing Whitley County man, Daryl Carter. Officials with the London Laurel Rescue Squad say Carter was found alive this evening. He'd been missing since Sunday. Carter was found by a farmer checking his fields about 1 mile outside of the search area. He was dehydrated, had some cuts and bruises, but we're told his vital signs were good. Kentucky State Police say an intoxicated man in Pike County stole a pickup truck, led police on a chase, and was ultimately arrested. WYMT Zach Hawk was at the scene of the investigation this afternoon and has the latest.
Shortly before noon Wednesday, an arrest citation from the Pike County Detention Center confirms that Pikeville PD officers attempted to stop James Rife of Tazewell County, Virginia. Rife was claimed to be in possession of a stolen white pickup truck along Hambly Boulevard in Pikeville. Rife would later admit he was under the influence of narcotics when he fled the officers, nearly striking several during the pursuit. From downtown Pikeville, the citation says Rife fled through the Cedar Creek community into the Hurricane community before multiple stop sticks were deployed by police, eventually ending the chase along US 23 near the city of Coal Run. Kentucky State Police investigators from Frankfort later arrived at the scene to investigate a shooting in connection to the pursuit. KSP officials with Post 9 in Pike County told us that the chase involved a shooting incident, but were unable to elaborate further while the case remains under investigation. In Hazard, Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Rife was charged with first-degree driving under the influence, first-degree fleeing or evading police, first-degree wanton endangerment, theft or distribution of stolen property of a value greater than $10,000 but less than $1 million, third-degree criminal mischief, and first-degree driving on a DUI suspended license. He was booked into the Pike County Detention Center. One man is facing stabbing charges following an incident early this morning in Bell County. Just before 4:30 this morning, officers with the Middlesboro Police Department were called to a home in the Hinks Heights area. Police say they found a man with a knife in his stomach. While investigating, 29-year-old Edward Christopher Horn was determined to be the suspect. Officers found Horn near the Happy Hollow Apartments. Police say during their conversation, Horn admitted to stabbing the other man. The victim, whose name was not released, was taken to Middlesboro ARH. We do not know his condition. Tomorrow, a hearing is scheduled in the murder case against Nicholas Rucker in Whitley County. The motion is to dismiss the case entirely. Rucker is accused of killing his girlfriend in 2019 and also accused of trying to escape from the Whitley County Detention Center earlier this year. That hearing is set for 11 a.m. in Whitley Circuit Court. It's a situation that no one thinks will happen to them, but in order to be prepared for an active shooter, those at the Carl D. Perkins Vocational Training Center hosted a training session for staff and their faculty on Wednesday. It was facilitated by the Johnson County Sheriff's Office, who taught people about the different types of active shootings, the possible motives of a shooter, and the best course of action to take when dealing with this scenario.
You know, you'd heard of some things like that going on, but it just wasn't anything you would think it would happen in your area. And then as time progressed, you know, we've seen it. Hey, we're vulnerable too. I mean, it can happen anywhere at any time.
Deputy Clark says every school, workplace, or organization could benefit from similar training. The Breathitt County Fiscal Court could face a shutdown if county workers are not paid. The judge executive called 2 special meetings today to transfer money so workers could get paid their overtime. A quorum, though, was not met to pass the transfer. The judge executive says if the government does shut down, it will not be a complete one.
I have to keep a couple employees at the county garage to keep weeds, try to get the weeds cut and tree falls. I mean, we got to get the roads open. So
the judge executive says 8 county workers did not get a paycheck Wednesday. A Clark County business owner is getting a lot of support after he says people berated him for being openly gay. Mason Rodas has been met with positivity mostly at his shop, Mason on Main. While there has always been some disapproval, he says he decided to talk publicly after people entered his store telling him that Jesus doesn't love him and that he should repent.
It's hurtful to me that I know for a fact that we have a lot of LGBT youth in this town growing up, and I want it to be a safe place for them. I don't want them to have to see and hear hate all the time.
As a Christian himself, Rodas says he also wants to draw attention to the amount of support he feels from the community, downtown business owners, and now even strangers on the internet. The largest prize ever given to an LGBTQ rider in the United States is going to an Eastern Kentucky native. Silas House is a New York Times best-selling author and a professor at Berea College. He's been awarded a Duggins Prize for Outstanding Mid-Career Novelist. It focuses on House's work about LGBTQ rural people. In his acceptance speech, the Laurel County native said he hopes his work makes others feel seen and heard. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, the Federal Reserve is hiking interest rates, the largest in nearly 30 years. how the move could help ease inflation, but impact America's wallets.
And we're continuing to watch oppressive and dangerous heat in the mountains this week, but we do have some changes on the way. The details on those next.
Get in the circle.